Welcome guys. I'll just let a few of you tune in before I start and I can finish this coffee. Alright. Yeah, alright. Where to start? Let's go with the positives. Let's start with the score and I guess with who performed well and the positives. I don't want to go too much into that last quarter just yet. We'll leave that for a little bit. Positives for me, the one that stood out was, and I called it at halftime, Jack Billings, particularly that first half. That field kicking was elite. That was as good as he's ever played, I think, for us. He didn't hurt the scoreboard, but he created so many chances for our forwards that some of the kicks, it gave the forward no option but to go for it and mark it. And that one where Membry marked it basically uncontested with a group of 10 around him was because of Billings. His smarts with the ball. He knew that there was too much traffic wide and he looked like he was going wide, but he hooked it at the last second and Membry clunked it. But that was one of many, I thought, positives for the first three quarters, including Robbie Young kicking 2 goals and setting up a couple. He looks lively, looks excellent. I thought Matty Parker was a bit better and had more grunt. I thought Marshall, although Grundy got the better of him towards the end, battled as good as any ruckman could have gone against probably the best ruckman in the comp. Steele battled hard. I thought Dunstan, that was his best game for a very long time. That kick to Membry on the lead was amazing, and Membry went back and kicked it. Membry himself kicked 4 straight and was great. Comment if I'm missing anyone, but I thought Wilkie stood up. I thought that Marsh looked okay coming in against his old team. What else? Seb Ross battled hard. I thought we probably missed Webster out of the back half, but I thought for the first half we seemed to be doing what we did against Melbourne. We switched it, we played wide, but then we cut in to be aggressive, and I thought that was quite good. And to be fair, guys, this is what happens against a good team. When you have 15 consecutive inside 50s, which I think we did in the second or third term, 15 in a row I heard somewhere, and we kicked from that 1 goal 6. Collingwood go down the other end. They literally didn't miss almost any set shots. They were kicking goals from everywhere. Reid was kicking them. Myercheck was kicking well. They were all kicking straight. And that's what kills you, is when you battle hard, you work hard, you bust your gut in that third term, and you still look up at the scoreboard and you're like, we're still 5 goals down because we've kicked 7 goals 14 or whatever we kicked in the end. You're not going to beat good teams playing that sort of football. You're going to beat good teams when you can actually put scoreboard pressure on them when you're on top, because you're not going to be on top of Collingwood for the whole game. Collingwood will get you at some point. You just got to make sure that you minimise when they get you and you maximise when you've got them. And we did maximise that, but when they got us, you see what they do. Literally 15 minutes in the last quarter, game is done. That's what a good team does. That's what a classy, polished team does. They didn't need to go. They didn't need more. They were laid out. So it didn't matter to them because their system still stood up. We should have been 4 goals up at halftime. We should have been 4 goals up at 3-quarter time. Instead, we were 5 points down. How can we be upset when we know that that's what's coming? I knew that Collingwood were going to go hard in the last quarter. I thought we would too. We're supposed to be a very fit team, and they ran us off our legs. They were better, harder, for longer. The move to put side bottom on Billings in the last quarter almost won them the game single-handedly, because they identified that Billings was creating everything for us. But what if they put their best midfielder in that game on Billings? What would they do? And how would Billings react? And Sidebottom took him forward. Probably should have kicked 2 or 3 goals Sidebottom. He kicked one where he turned Billings easily. I can't think of anyone that I'd majorly want to drop this week. I feel like it's I couldn't think. I think Jack Nunes had a bit of a mare. I thought he was really poor. And I think one guy, this is an interesting one, someone that had an amazing season last season. He's a gun that's re-signed for us, and we're trying to make him a mid. Jade Gresham. Is he a midfielder, guys? I feel like every half forward, decent half forward that does well in that forward half suddenly has to become a midfielder. Why can't he just be a gun forward for us? Why can't he be a clever forward at the feet of Membry and Bruce? Because so many times tonight, we had the ball hit the deck and Collingwood had so many numbers around. They always had one at the back where they just shovel it back. We had no one at the ground. Why can't Gresh be there? I'd rather Gresh get the ball in the forward line with a split second to snap a goal than to get it in the midfield like he does. He cuts in, but then he bombs it. He just hooks it over the shoulder and they mark it. They intercept it every time. I'd rather him have a burst in the forward. He doesn't even rest forward now. You know, we're playing him solely mid, and I don't know if that's working for us. You know, I just think that we've taken his best asset, which he did so well for two years leading up to this year, and we've taken that away from him just to get more of the ball. I'd rather him have 10 possessions like last season and kick 5 than have 25, which he never gets 25, and he kicks no goals. You know, like, I think we're more dangerous with him deeper. I don't know. That's my thoughts. But just seeing him run around today, he seemed lost. He seemed like he didn't know what to do or where to go. There was that passage where I think he bumped Battle off the ball, and that was just kind of a big mix-up, no communication. But I'm not going to stick too much into Gresh because he's one of my favourite players. But I'm just feeling like, is he really a mid? Is he big enough? Is he... I don't know. I just feel like he has that X factor about him up forward, but when it comes to midfield, I don't know about that so much. But he's a tough unit, but I feel like I'd rather him forward and play someone else in the middle. But that's my opinion. Let's get to the last quarter. Don't know what happened there. I was so proud of the boys. I'm still proud of the boys for the first 3 quarters. We played a very good team. We've got Carlton next week, so that's a winnable game if we play like we did in the first 3 quarters and actually maximise our chances. But I honestly think the difference in that last quarter was simply, and I'm going to say it, and I've said it for every time we've played a really good team, class. Side bottom got going. Treloar got going. Beams got going. Stevenson got going. Hoskin Elliott got going. They had those classy players that could go to that next level. We had no one. We had no one that could go to the next level. Stephen can do that. You know, Hanbury used to do that. Carlisle's excellent. We're missing so many star players. It kills us when other teams have so many. And if anything, I think De Goey being out actually made their forward line more dangerous, made Collingwood's forward line more dangerous. We didn't have to just man De Goey. They literally had multiple options. And that's why I think they're the best team in the comp. I think they have so many multiple goal kickers. They can really raffle it. They don't even need Mason Cox. They don't need Ben Reid. They'll still kick winning scores. Us without Membry and Bruce, it's a worry. A team like Collingwood, it doesn't matter. You know, they're just on a different level right now. And I think we've proven with the way we want to play, we can challenge really well. If we're not ahead and we drop off, those sort of teams like the Collingwoods and the West Coast last week, Adelaide a couple of weeks before, GWS, we've had a tough fucking run. I think we've done a lot in all of those games, but I honestly think today was one to get, and we just didn't take it. I thought last week was one to get, and an Adelaide game was one to get, and we just weren't polished enough. We didn't have the class, and that was the difference. Marshall's goal was huge. You know, there were a lot of positives today, guys, but I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna get too sucked into that last quarter because that's what Collingwood does to a lot of teams. They did it to Carlton. They've done it to multiple teams this season. Let's quickly go through some of these comments. I might cut it short just so I can head home. It's getting dark, but thanks so much for watching, guys. Michael says, same garbage as always. I don't think so. Pete says, can you get me a coffee, please, latte with 2. This place, no shout-outs, but Republic in Toorak Road was pretty good, so feel free to duck over there. Back to the game. Clint says, where we at classes or... I can't even understand that question, Clint, to be honest. Graham says, surrendered in last quarter weak as... I agree with that. I think the last quarter hurt the first 3 quarters, honestly. We needed to finish stronger and we didn't. Bence is not quite there. Let's remember we aren't far away. 1 bad quarter. We've been shit for so long. But hey, look at the positives. We can finally hit a target. I agree. Jeremy says, learn how to kick, please, for every paying member and long-term supporter. Learn how to make a simple decision and kick to the advantage of your teammates. It's one thing I spotted today. We tried to kick it onto the head of every Saint. Collingwood, all they do is kick it out in front and back the player to run onto it and do something. And to be honest, Collingwood are better when the ball is in dispute, when they have to think fast. When it's not and they're marking it and they have too much time on their hands, they're shit hours. And I think we're the same. I think we want that chaos ball. We don't want it to be slow and chipped around, because then it gets into our players' heads and we have to think, do I go there? Do I go there? When you're under the pump, you get the ball. You literally give it to the first option because you know you're going to be smashed. So I think we should go in that same approach. Joe says same week in, week out. We are unable to play 4 quarters of football. Very disappointing, and cry face. Tom says, what's the life expectancy of a St Kilda supporter? Jeez, I'm hoping long enough to see another flag, but who knows. Luke says, bad luck, Sainers. You guys did well. You guys will get there. Peter says, how can we play good for 3 quarters and then fall asleep in the last? I don't think we fell asleep. I think we're not giving enough credit to Collingwood going to a next level. Obviously, I think we could have done more, but I think we were just thrown by Collingwood's intensity. We couldn't match it. Luke says, pie's too good, too much class. I agree. Jason says, I see plenty of positives, just not enough experienced heads controlling the tough times. Would love to get Jack Stephen back. Sinclair, Ross and Nunes all look like they don't want to be out there. Pete says, I feel like Richo is out of ideas. He's been using the same game plan for 3 years and it's still not working. I would say the tweaks in the game plan are because of the assistance we got in at the start of the year. Need to recruit a great midfielder. I agree. Joe says, excuses. That's every week, starting to get tired of the excuses. Oscar says, I'm sick of us being an AFL team that cannot kick straight. It's not that bloody hard to kick straight. I know. Like, to be fair, I kicked 4 straight today playing for South Yarra, so perhaps, just late inclusion next week. I'll happily chip in for the boys. Jeremy says Parker and Kent need a spell. Yeah, Nick Hines got to get a spell. Surely Nick Hines comes in this week. Hunter Clark, Max King not far away. There's a lot of players in the seconds that are a chance. So, and against Carlton, wouldn't hurt. Let's give it a go. Andrew says 3 quarters of footy doesn't win matches. Plenty of good signs. All let down by a disgraceful last quarter. Patricia says, I'm very proud of how our boys worked. We're missing so many. Give them a go. Peter says Jade Gresham needs to be a goal sneak, not a mid. Milner used to be able to do both, but they're 2 different players. Jess says can beat bottom 8 teams, but won't beat the top 8 teams without Stephen, Carlisle, Geary, and Loney. Ross says you're wrong. It wasn't that the Pies are good, and that's why they iced us in the last. Because we were terrible. 6 to death of the excuses. It's not an excuse. Collingwood are an A-grade team with superstars almost on every line. They went up a notch. We didn't match them. We went down, if anything. That didn't help, but they did go up. They played better. They played more direct. We couldn't slow them down like we did in the first 3. They did something different. Matt says no excuses for that last quarter shithouse. Bo Jason says, what's your thoughts on Robbie Young? Awesome. That goal from 50 on the one step was incredible. His tackle was great. He did everything he needed to do. He stays in the team. His pace is fucking exciting to look at. Daniel says, I feel like all the good things that were done by people like Parker and Young and Billings are overshadowed as we absolutely butchered the last quarter. Super disappointed right now. I know, I'm disappointed too, but we've got Blues next week. Pressure's going to be on to perform, but we just need to play like we did today for the most part, and I think we can get the job done. But the same thing, Carlton are going to come in, and they're going to think they're a chance. So we need to put them to bed early and, really perform. It's a big game. We want to be 5-5. 4-5 now after being 4-1. Not good. We need to get back on the winners list. I'm going to leave it there, guys. Keep it short and sharp. Keep your comments coming, and I'll respond when I can. I think what was the final score? So it was Collingwood 112, Saints 71 after being 5 points down at halftime, 5 points down at 3/4 time. Really, they were there for the taking, guys, and we just couldn't go with them. It was really disappointing, but still a lot of positives, and hopefully we learn. We just keep learning after playing these top teams because they find a way to win. We need to start finding ways to win too. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Please like the video, comment, share it. On Instagram, Saints TV Official. If you're not following me on Instagram, go there and do that. YouTube, Saints TV as well. And this video will be there as well. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll chat to you soon.